Hello, hello, hello. This is Crystal Hill, founder of Hill House Publishing, thought leader specialist, and story and wisdom activator. Now, I'm really, really excited to have this roundtable conversation with some of the authors who have written and contributed to our books over the past years. And the reason for our conversation today is the celebration of our fifth anniversary. So I'm just so excited, not just because, it's a milestone, business is turning 5, but really more importantly, because of the impact that I facilitate, or Hill House is facilitating for all of you contributors, the authors, and the ripple effect that has to the collective. I just love being in doing work where I can facilitate change and transformation that makes a difference, that really makes an impact. Because when healers, coaches, change makers come and have the courage and the discipline to sit down and reflect on their lives, when you do that, we embody who we are in a deeper way, because that reflection integrates something within us that helps us to become more of who we are. And from that clarity, frameworks emerge, principles emerge that we then teach to the world. So I love that double, it's like the law of reciprocity. You are contributing something. You're writing a book for the purpose of helping your ideal clients, the world, and in turn, you're becoming more of who you are, and you're stepping into your purpose in a deeper way. And that's what I love so much. So books change lives, and when we give, we receive. So today's topic, we are talking about thought leadership, we're talking about legacy, we're talking about how books can support us in our businesses, in that, like how who we're becoming, and how that becoming expresses itself, I suppose, through the work that we do in the world. And with that, I've come up with my own little thought leadership formula, which I'm going to share with you, because as I'm becoming clearer and clearer as we're transitioning, what is my particular niche or positioning in this world of publishing. And it is really about helping create thought leaders. That's what excites me, helping us really carve out our message. And so for me, that is the AAA formula framework, where alignment plus articulation equals amplified authority. So when we're fully aligned, when we're fully embodied in who we are, and we can articulate clearly what we do and the frameworks that we have, that presence amplifies our authority. So with that said, I want to introduce the beautiful speakers, authors, creators, healers, magicians that are here today, and let them share how writing a book or a chapter has been for you. And Terry, let's start with you. Maybe just share a little bit about your presence in the world, what you are here, what is your magic that you're sharing with the world?
Thanks so much, Crystal, and it's so great to be on here with all these other authors and yourself today. So thank you for the opportunity. So I never thought I would become an author, and have now been a part of 2 books where I have written chapters that you've helped with both of those in different ways. So I really appreciate that. But in my case, my message has been around designing your life and creating the life that we actually truly want, instead of the life that so many of us actually settle for. And in what I've found is that I've first of all, when I started this, I didn't realize how much of a need there was for people to actually get really clear on the life that they wanted to create. So that is what really drives my entire coaching programs now. But when I wrote the books, I literally just thought, well, this is a great opportunity, I'll get into it. I didn't really consider what it was going to bring to me later on. I knew that I had a message that I wanted to get out there. I had my story that I wanted to share. And what it's brought to me, though, is a whole additional level of authority. It literally was having a conversation with a family member who is never going to be my client, who knew very little about what I actually did. And as soon as I told them that I had been a part of even just 1 book, let alone 2, their eyes just kind of popped out of their head, you could see them like ratcheting up their perception of me in their brain as they learned about it. So and it's really interesting because this is a person who, if they had chosen to, could have found out these things about me anyway, but we hadn't had those conversations. It was, you know, someone who was, you know, I'm from a blended family, and this was someone who had gotten to know me in the last sort of 15 years or so. So yeah, that authority piece that has come from being involved in these books has been, it's amazing, honestly, the difference. It's far more than I ever anticipated, to be honest.
And we'll dive more into that as we're continuing the conversation. And how incredible. Anna, did you feel that happening to you as well? Like, or was it expressing itself in a different way? And of course, also who you are and what your magic is.
So I had a story with my aunt, so similar to Terry, with a relative, and she told me after, because my family lives in Germany, they didn't read the book, couldn't speak English. So what I did, I translated it, I recorded it, and I sent them the voice recordings. And my auntie came back and said, Anna, you have so many words. And I was like, okay, thank you. But it was this, okay, I guess you never got to know me. So otherwise you would probably know that I've done this and that I do have many words, but it was an interesting statement. And I wrote about the time when I lived in England. I had my boyfriend and he was an alcoholic, and how I lost myself in that relationship. And even though when I started this business, it was based on, in simple terms, help women love themselves. But at the time, I didn't know, what does that mean? How does that look like, etc., etc. And with that book, coming back to that story, coming back to the tears that I shed during the relationship and that I shed during writing the story of me being in that relationship and getting lost, finding myself, it shaped particularly after I got so much clearer on my message, who I want to serve, who is this woman, who am I now, where have I lost myself since, and what have I done to come back to me, or to the new me, to the different me, to another version of me. So it was a great experience, and business-wise, I am more into PR now, so I'm doing more PR for my business. And there are so many requests where it says, please send us the title of your book. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I never had thought it would come like that, or people would literally ask for a link to the book or title of the book. But now when I have it, it's like, yes, I can do that. Amazing.
That is fantastic. So tell us a little bit more. You know, you shared your journey that you shared in the book. Tell us who you're helping now. And I know it's like, you know, you already said you're helping women to love themselves more deeply. Is there something you want to elaborate on?
Yeah, I found out that love is a really strong and strange word, so I don't call it self-love anymore. I'm calling it more on the lines of acceptance, because I believe that as soon as you accept who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, yeah, everything falls into place and life becomes easier. So I now say that I help women who lost themselves in love find the version they want to be and always have meant to be again.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And there's definitely a theme here already with all of us helping people step more into who they truly are through all these different modalities. So Isabelle, share with us your version of that and how the book, and I know you've written more than one, has contributed to that.
So I love hearing the stories, Terry and Anna. I said the book, Corporate Calling, just the title alone, and all the contributor authors are sharing really soul development or personal development, right? Now, for me, I have a lens of a soul because that's the work that I do. I work with spiritual teachers and healers, and I do hypnosis to go into the field of their soul. And that would be considered parallel lives or past lives. So I'm a little different, but I had a long corporate career before I left for my calling. And so in writing and sharing my story, when I was talking to Crystal, before I left corporate to answer the call of my higher self or my mission or greater purpose, I would say, it started at work in a parking lot, and I'm talking to Goddess Isis, and just, sharing that story because it's a little unusual, but it was in all the stories in the book, Corporate Calling, is bravery and courage and stepping outside the comfort zone. That is, and it's all about soul growth or finding yourself or your voice or your passion. And so, Corporate Calling, Crystal, I think you did a beautiful collective journey of humanity in this book. And many, many humans will also have to find their way, whether they stay in corporate or not. As a thought leader, we are shifting and changing, and many of us feel it and see it. So I think Corporate Calling is a great foundational book.
Thank you. And Sandy, you also were in Corporate to Calling. Would you like to share a little bit of who you are and what the book did for you personally and potentially also for your business?
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. Thank you, ladies, for sharing the stories. Amazing. Isabel, I loved your chapter. I read the chapter. We're co-authors, and it was so lighthearted and yet so powerful and so inspiring. So thank you for sharing your story. But yeah, in my contribution, my chapter was something that was it really took me out of my comfort zone, because I have basically gone back to my childhood, and I'm basically sharing who I am as a person, or who the essence of me is, and what has happened with that since. I'm actually, it's almost like it was the tip of the iceberg, and now I've just started like unpacking layers and layers of me, and I'm so excited that in this new year, I'm taking a new direction and really sort of embody all those things that I've now discovered since writing that journey. So my thing is, I was in corporate, I was in banking, for 20 years, working in corporate in risk and compliance. But actually, I really loved that work that I did. And so what I have now, what I'm doing in terms of business, which is an extension of what I wrote in Corporate to Calling. I'm continuing my life's work, which was my career in corporate, but I'm serving it into supporting small business with a lot of the compliance issues, because what I did at Discovery, I discovered that a lot of small businesses are actually getting shut down because they are not meeting a lot of the requirements, of which these things that are their biggest headaches or their biggest bottlenecks is actually very simple things for me to solve. So I'm now serving the small business community, and I'm helping them to preserve their legacies, because by preserving their legacy, it means that their business continues to be open if they meet the requirements that I help them with. So it's a different take. Yes, I've left corporate, but I still serve because I loved my work, and I still serve it in a different way. So it's like I've now basically said I'm going to take my expertise, but I'm going to serve here. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm still doing a lot of groundwork. I'll be working with the government to actually solve this problem. It's actually going to be almost like a national problem that we're solving. So it has actually become truly a calling. So just been doing a lot of groundwork to get everything off the ground, but it's almost like its own category. I basically opened a can of worms, my own category. So it's exciting. I love the challenge that it brings and the opportunities, but it's just taken a lot of time to get off the ground. But it has also allowed me to really uncover who I really am, and it has been a beautiful journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sandy. Yeah, so that stepping more deeply into who we are, and I loved, Anna, what you said about, there's a lot of words. And it's an interesting way of putting it, like this, how people's perception of you shifts now that you're an author. Tara, you touched on that. Isabelle, just briefly, is there something that you've noticed how people perceive you differently? And is it mainly family that changes, or friends that see us in a different way? Or do you feel like it's in the business world as well? I mean, Anna, you also mentioned, you needed the book for certain applications, because when you're speaking somewhere, people want to know that you are somebody who has a framework, who has a methodology, who can speak cohesively about your topic, right? So I think that's where it becomes important for business. But yeah, so Isabelle, how do people perceive you differently?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, Crystal, because in a weird way, I really don't care. So, but I would say, and it's only because what I do is not mainstream, I would say right now. But I would say corporate calling is I do use that book to help someone in the beginning of their journey to step into a higher mission and purpose. Because as you, I'm an awakening teacher, guys, so I'm only focused on the awakening. But as you become more aware of who you are or who you're not, or your feelings and emotions, sometimes the human label is a midlife crisis, right? Or a feeling of dissatisfaction, or a feeling something has to change or something has to give. And I point to that book, Corporate Calling, to show that it is possible. So that's how it impacts me. I'm using corporate calling not as a personal validation of who I am, but more of a loving tool to say, look at all these stories. Look at all these women from different backgrounds and a few men, but look at these stories of human perseverance and bravery and courage. And that is a great book to give someone just in that beginning blush of questioning and curiosity. Is there something more? Is there something more than what society and my family has told me? And that needs to be nurtured and tended to, and that book is perfect. So I actually use the book more as a gift and a tool.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, Terry, have there been any unexpected opportunities that have come out of the books that you've been a part of that you would have never thought of, potentially in your business, in your thought leadership, and how people see you? You can take that question wherever you want to take it.
There have been quite a few, honestly, and more than I anticipated, because to be honest, just as the books came out, the two books that I've been a part of came out very close together, and it coincided with my dad and being diagnosed with cancer and passing away quite quickly. So I'm 100% aware that although there was lots of opportunities there, my focus was on my dad, and so I didn't probably push it as much as I could have. Having said that, though, as soon as one of the a business owner nearby here who lives quite close to me. As soon as she learned that I had a book coming out, she invited me to be a keynote speaker at a significant event, a fundraising event that is held here locally every year. And it's the kind of event that, like, I'd gone to and I'd seen these people up on stage. I'm like, I'd love to do that one day. And I had no clue how I was actually going to make that happen. And the minute that she knew that my book was coming out, she invited me. I didn't even have to like put that out on loudspeaker to her. So that was like opportunities like that have come along, because in my case, you know, my work around this designing your life, my focus is on helping business owners, particularly solo women who are stepping away from having raised their family and taking on that a professional role for themselves now that their families are at a stage where they're not so needed on the day-to-day basis. And it's people I help are the people who are stepping along the same journey that I've been on. And so it was that having that request come to me from simply because the book was coming out, like really blew me away. And I know that there will be more opportunities like that to come. You know, I'm sort of at the point of a relaunch now with my business starting under a different banner, same kind of work, but it's a little bit different. And so the books I know will start to really come into their own now in terms of opening doors for those sorts of opportunities. Now that, you know, I'm a little bit further along in that journey in terms of processing what's happened with Dad, etc.
Yes, thank you. There's so much here, right? Like, firstly, life happens, and that's one thing. And you know, I remember that time, and it was really, really tough and powerful at the same time. And then also, we don't have to push. When we have a book, when we just opportunities can come because there's something in our frequency that changes, because there's a deeper clarity, and people can see that. It's like a magnet that attracts people to us. And yes, and that really for me has been a powerful thing to realize and to notice. Like, we don't have to push. If we're in alignment, the opportunities, the referrals, the speaking invitations, they come.
Yeah. And in my case, it was so unexpected. Like, we had, I had the invitation come about the book. I found the news about my dad one day. The very next day, the book was released and we went international bestseller. And my dad, who had been, he was a cattle grazier, very fit, very healthy man, was not on any daily medications at the time of his diagnosis, but he actually only survived 4.5 months past that day of diagnosis. And so it was such a man roller coaster. You know, to get that that horrible news, and then literally 4 hours later to hit international bestseller, and then all the other stuff that flowed on. It was, it was a ride, and somehow I managed to do a speaking gig in the middle of that.
Yeah. It's like when it rains, it pours, right? And it all happens at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you've processed and all the pieces have fallen where they need to fall. And now there is some even greater clarity and new beginnings emerging.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anna, what about you? Were there any unexpected opportunities? Anything that happened as a result of this book?
I don't know if it's because of the book. I don't know if that is part of why it happened, but there has been a lot of requests coming in for stuff like this, for writing articles, for being featured in articles, for being more in the public eye. And is it a coincidence? How is it connected? I don't know. But I want to believe that it's part of my path, of my way forward. And I really enjoyed doing it and creating something. And I even can now see myself creating something different in the future. And it was just because of how you dealt with me, with us as a group, because we've been an interesting group, I want to say.
One of the
And,
more interesting ones, I have to say too, yes. It's always, yeah, there is the, people come together for sometimes for just synergy and sometimes to learn things, right?
mhm,
And that one
yeah,
was
and it
a
was
learning
amazing.
experience,
I'm
which
still
was
in
amazing.
awe with your patience. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And um, I learned so much during that time, because I remember I couldn't, my wrist, I hurt my wrist. I think I had an infection on my wrist or something. I couldn't write. And then I did it with ChatGPT, and how you encouraged me to do that and just do it and just see what comes out of it. And me not being, it's like, I can't do it properly, but I can do it either way. So it was a beautiful learning curve. And what came out of it. And personally, I want to say, I even had not a happy story, but a friend of mine, she said, I don't want to read your book because I might not like the new you, the one that you have become through the book and after the book. So that friendship is muted. Let's put it that way.
And that can happen too, right? People who we've known for a very long time who maybe not have evolved at the level or at the speed that you may have or we may have, feel intimidated or feel like a disconnect. And that happens. And I think we prepare especially for that when it comes to long friends and family, that they're not necessarily our supporters and they're not necessarily who we write a book for. We're writing a book for our future community that we're calling in. And I love what you shared, that it may not have been the book directly, but maybe the book helped you, was like one small puzzle piece on who you are on that continuous journey of becoming. Right. And then a lot of people write a book because they aspire to be a speaker and they need that book so they can show they have a body of work that they can express in a cohesive way, as I already said. So I love all of that, because it's never linear. Life is not linear. And the magic and the unexpected surprises are powerful. And I think, Sandy, you've already mentioned that maybe the results weren't yet what you would have expected, but there was a growth that happened. Is there anything like, were there unexpected opportunities, or how has being an author shifted how you perceive yourself? Is there anything around that you share?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's that becoming. It's definitely the word. Yeah, I heard you say the word becoming, and I said, yeah, that's me. Because what happened is I never even thought that I would write a book. It was just not even in my radar. So to be able to actually do that and accomplish it, and then for it to even go to the levels that it did, the success that it did, that it was really like a big surprise to me. It was sort of beyond what I ever imagined. So that was a good stretch. And then now I'm starting to think, okay, what does this mean for me? I asked a lot of questions. And actually I feel like it happened in November, and I just felt like I retreated, and I just sort of went into that festive season, and I just was asking a lot of questions. What does this mean? And then what I have discovered with that is that potentially my heart is now sort of looking at saying, okay, I think I would love to speak. I would love to share some of the lessons that I was able to articulate when I wrote that. Some of the things that I even wrote, I didn't even know was one of my frameworks. Now my actual framework that I operate by has been expanded through writing that, because I looked at it from a different perspective. So what has happened is, like, in writing that chapter, I've just got this massive framework to work around, and I was trying to see, how do I present this framework outward? How do I share it outward? And I was thinking speaking would be would be nice. I haven't actually had any opportunities to speak, but it's something I would like to do. I would love to have an opportunity to do that. And what I've just been doing in the meantime is preparing myself. I joined Toastmasters, so I would like to learn, how to speak on stage. It's just something I've just never thought about before, but now I actually joined Toastmasters since January. I've been attending once a month, and I'm now actually putting myself out there to be able to learn how to speak, so then I could use my, what I've written and actually share that to um, on stage. That's kind of something that I'm now thinking about, things that I never thought about before. So definitely the book has expanded my how opportunities that could be available for me in the future. Not yet, but I see it happening in the future, and I'm just preparing myself for the day when those opportunities present themselves.
Beautiful. Yes, I love that. So I want to wrap it up shortly with that question of if that opportunity came to you again at a time that you're really busy, maybe you didn't have your framework yet, what would you say to maybe your past self? I mean, you've done it, so maybe that's not even the question. What would you say to someone who kind of is sitting on the fence saying, yeah, I want to write a book one day, I want to contribute a chapter one day, but I don't have the time, or my message isn't really developed yet. Is there anything that you would say to that person? So we'll maybe start with Anna.
What would I say? I think I would say that the message will come. The message is there already, and it will come out. It's always like that, isn't it? And it was for me. I thought, yeah, I have my story, but the message, what do I actually want to say? And that's where you came in, Crystal, because you taught us how to get to the bottom of that. And I would say, go to Crystal or to your publisher of trust and let them help you be open to what comes in and what you want to do with it.
Thank you. Terry, what about you?
I would say jump at it. It's the opportunity, the learnings that came to me from the books that I was included in was so much more than I ever anticipated in terms of what I learned about myself, what I learned about my process, and my I did this work completely manually. I hand wrote a lot of stuff. I typed it all out. ChatGPT was not available when we wrote our stuff, or maybe it came along later actually. So even now, like I use ChatGPT very lightly. I use it to do a first draft, and it is really good, I find, in terms of taking your ideas and then massage them into something, but then I will still take that and then rewrite it in my own words rather than using the AI based stuff. It sort of takes care of a step in my thinking, but is the way I use AI at this point. But the process of growth and that self-discovery that comes from generating your book or your story, your chapter, that I don't know where else you can duplicate that. I think that there's a really massive value in terms of your personal growth in getting to that point of publishing, and then you can create additional opportunities as well. So I think essentially, if the opportunity is there, run at it with and grab it with both hands and be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. So much magic in that for sure. Sandy, what about you? What would you say to somebody when you didn't even think of writing a book and suddenly the opportunity was there and you said yes?
Yeah, no, for me, it was the level of alignment that I felt in that conversation I had with you. I was like, this is completely out of my depth, like I'm a numbers person, so writing is just completely different. And I would highly just say, follow your heart, if it feels right, definitely go with it. But for me, that's what I did. And like it was one of the most yeah, I think I grew a lot because I had only just been in business for probably like 8 months at the time, so I was still new, and I was thinking, I'm kind of gonna send a different message to my audience because I'm doing like business, and then now you're doing authorship. It just looked like a lot, but I didn't really think about what it looks like to people. It felt right for me at the time, and I did it. And it's just something that it will always remain like a very pivotal moment of growth. I'll always remember that. I remember I was at a concert when, we were getting all the notifications of that it had become bestseller. And it was just like surreal. It was quite surreal. The process and, the group of people that, you were able to put together, they're very different. It's not like there was one person who's the same. And so it was also encouraging to see there were people in the group as well who were brand new at this, so I kind of felt a level of comfort. That's a good thing with the group approach. So there's always someone who you can connect with at the same level, and those that are more advanced you would learn from. So, I think Kim was able to invite us onto her podcast, and I'd never been on a podcast. So that was another layer of growth. It just all happened in one go. So, I mean, if it's a very nurtured environment like what you provided us, I think I would definitely encourage, unless if someone is going off and doing it alone, then probably I would say wait until you get, everything right. But if you're going through a guided approach, I think I would definitely say 100% yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Isabelle, what about you? What would you share with somebody who's maybe too busy or hasn't got their messaging worked out yet?
I hope you guys can really feel this when you hear this. I just don't recommend anyone. And I want to say Crystal is a wonderful, wonderful teacher. I would say all the women in her group, I saw such personal development. So Sandy, I totally agree with you. And Crystal had everything in phases and stages and nurturing us and not only her bringing out the story, right, and encouraging somebody speaking for the first time and sharing emotion. Those pages are emotional. There is not one story in that book that is not heartfelt, right? Those are all heartfelt stories. And so for Crystal to pull heartfelt stories in such a loving, tender way, I want to honor that. That is hard to do. And every story is a beautiful little gem because they are so different. But the thread is love. The thread is love and bravery and courage. And Crystal held the group. We had meetings, we had marketing, we had sharing, we collectively worked together to help each other's posts on social media. And she's great. So if you're on the fence, what I would say to you is, please don't let money stop you, because it's never about the money. And don't let time stop you, because it's never about the time. Really what it is, it's uncomfortable and you're feeling scared and you're being asked to grow. Because if you are listening to this, this is for you to pause and reflect and take a step. So book a call with her, do a discovery call, do one baby step at a time. It's so well worth it.
Thank you, Isabelle. Oh my gosh. Where to from here? I think, I really appreciate all of you and all of the journeys that you have individually gone through, and the privilege that I've had to witness all of that. all of the wobbles, all of the celebration, all of the, oh my God, I didn't realize I could write like that. All of the, oh my God, is this good enough? All of that is part of the author's journey. And it's just such an honor to facilitate a space where we really come into our hearts, our essence, and tapping into that courage to share that with who knows whoever will read it, right? Whoever will be there, and magically allow the synchronicities to take shape. So lastly, I want to ask, where can people find you? If people are resonating with your energy, with what you're doing, I'll put websites in the show notes, but maybe just briefly now, is there anything that you've got coming up or where people can reach out to you? Anna, let's start with you.
The best way is always the website annathelman.com, because whatever changes, you can, that sticks, that stays, and you can find the information there. And currently I have my program Back to Me, where I help women through a 3-step process: recognize, like Isabelle said, that's the first step. We recognize, and then we reconnect, and then we rebuild the relationship. And that's my biggest thing at the time.
Very cool. You've got the 4R framework by the sounds of it. I love it. Thank you, Anna. Terry, how can people reach out to you, get involved with the beautiful work that you're doing in the world?
Easiest place to find me, honestly, is Facebook still at the moment. I'm actually in the middle of transitioning from one brand to another, but I am starting a program called the Momentum Jumpstart. So this is about helping people who are really stuck to identify where they want to go, and starting a 6-week container to just really help people to get that movement and momentum into their business and their lives, so that they can end up creating the results that they're actually looking for.
Wonderful. So Facebook it is. We'll put that in the links so people can reach out to you there. Sandy, how can these small business owners looking for whether they are compliant or not, how can they find you?
Oh, yeah, thank you, Crystal. So I am in the process of launching a new business. I've got a business partner, and we are launching what we call the compliance practice. So all my compliance expertise in one place with automated solutions. So within the application, someone would be able to get their compliance maps that they need for the whole year. So it's going to be called the compliance practice. It's launching this March. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Sandy Tembo, for more
Amazing.
information.
Thank you. I'll put that in the notes as well. And Isabelle, how can people connect with you? I know you've got a big, amazing program coming up. So tell us, where can people find you?
So LinkedIn, I that is my social media preference. Isabelle Zimmerman, just on LinkedIn, or my website, attractingwisdom.com.
And what have you got coming up?
I have a lot coming up, but it is not for the public.
Okay, by invitation only. So,
invitation only.
wonderful. So if you're feeling, oh, I want an invitation, and there's a little spark there and a little something, go and reach out to Isabelle. We've got lots of stuff coming up as well next month, which I won't go into it now, but if you're feeling the resonance and wanting to dive in at whatever level, membership or multi-author books or even thought leadership partnerships, then reach out to me on the channel that you're probably watching on, or my website, hillehouse.org. Thank you so much for celebrating with me and for sharing your experiences and your wisdom. It's just been truly heartwarming and heart-opening to connect with you in this way. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Crystal, and congratulations on 5 phenomenal years.
Thank you.